PlayStation VR. What's my initial thoughts? Let's have a chat. Okay, so PlayStation VR's been out for a while now. My initial video was actually going to be a lot earlier, but in all honesty, I've just had so much fun playing on it that I just haven't had time to actually make the videos. But VR's been out now. The game lineup that they released, it's got pretty much something for everyone. You've got the likes of Space Shooter and Valkyrie, you've got Drive Club for your racing, there's party games and Keep Talking and No One Explodes. There's all sorts. They really have sort of done a good job of getting games out there. I've got a couple of sort of what you class as a sort of, I suppose, single player like big games with the likes of Rigs, sort of Drive Club, Valkyrie, where it has got something to keep going back to because of the online side of things. But I'll be honest, a lot of the games that they release sort of straight away have been sort of mini games or tech demos. The main one of them that was sort of sold as a big thing really was Batman, and in my personal opinion, I thought that was one of the biggest letdowns. Graphically, it was amazing. It's just that there wasn't much to go back on. It's great. It looks really nice. There's a few little scenes, but there's no walking around. There's not a lot of freedom to go to. There's only certain points in scenes that you can go to. And then once you've completed it, which you can do in less than an hour, it's pretty much replay just to solve some Riddler riddles. But in all honesty, not a huge amount of replay value for me personally. Some people may really like it, but that's it. One of the best games that I feel that came out that really shows off what the VR can do is actually Until Dawn Rush of Blood. I've had such a laugh on that game, and to be honest, when friends have come round to show off the VR, I've threw on that game and everyone has loved it. The VR headset itself, I had a few little issues with it when I first got it. It sort of took me a while sort of just to get it right, where it wasn't sort of blurry or anything like that. But in all honesty, after a couple of times of putting it on, it's fine now. I'm used to it. I can throw it on and sort of put it up straight away where I want it. And again, friends have come round. I've even took the unit to work one day, and took it into the staff room, set it up. Everyone come round. Since I've had it, 4 people have ordered the PlayStation VR because they're that impressed with it. It has surpassed what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be good. I knew I was going to enjoy it. I was always a little bit worried that it wasn't going to be as good as I want it to be. In all honesty, it's better. I'm so happy that I actually went with my gut and got it on release day. As I said, I wanted to do this video a lot sooner. I was going to do more of a review video for it, but there's that many review videos out there now. I just see a bit pointless. It's more just to chat about VR video. But I'm so impressed with VR itself, like Sony VR, that I'd have to recommend anyone to get it that likes gaming. It is all depends what you have to. If you have to your big single player game that has a lot of large campaigns in it, it's probably wait just for the time being then. But if you are like me and you like varied games, then get it. My wife doesn't like playing on computer games, but with VR, she actually really enjoys it. There's a game called Tumble VR, which is just a simple game of stacking blocks. Absolutely, it sounds absolutely rubbish. Adding it to VR though, and feeling like there, and you can see the depth of the blocks and everything. She absolutely loves it. There are a couple other games that she really likes as well, but a simple game like that where you're not really having to use the PlayStation controller and find your way around it, she loves it. She with the other games as well, like there's one called Don't Talk, Everyone Explodes. Unfortunately, I can't get any footage of that because basically when you record direct from the PS4. It only works on games that sort of shows the gameplay on the TV as well. And what basically happens is the person in the VR headset, may not be a guy, would see like like a briefcase with different sort of what they call modules, and it shows different little square sections of the bomb. So they can see it. Each one might have one might have a combination of wires in it. One might have symbols, and then you have to basically shout out to the person can see the telly and saying, right, I can see this. And then basically on the telly they'll have lots of different paperwork. So one page will be about buttons, one page will be about wires. They have to flick through and find out, and they'll basically talk you through how to disassemble that part of the bomb. Again, it doesn't sound all that. It's not an expensive game. I think it's about £10 on the PSN store. Me and my wife have spent so many hours on that because it's just something you can do together. It's again bringing that VR experience socially. It's keeping it away from that. This is just a one-person experience. Some games are just a one-person experience, like Valkyrie, for example, which I absolutely adore. People can watch it on the telly, but they're not really sort of involved in it with like yourself. But for me, Valkyrie is one of the best games. There's not a lot to it in terms of single-player campaign. There is, but it's very short. It's done in a matter of no time. But because it's online, there's always lobbies running, and literally it's just dogfighting in space. But I've always liked space shooters as a kid, and this is just bringing that now to what I've always imagined as a child, sort of thing. Motion sickness, I haven't really suffered with it. There was one game on the PSVR Worlds disc which is called Scavenger's Odyssey. It's like you're in this sort of like little mech thing in space, and you can jump freely from the ground, land on the wall, you can walk on the roof, and in all honesty, that did make me feel sick. I did have to stop playing that. I haven't gone back to it, to be honest. But there's some really great titles on there that just shows that what the VR can do. There's not really many downsides to the VR, in my personal opinion. I mean, I love my racing games, more into my sim racing games, which there isn't any at the moment. But there is Drive Club. I do enjoy my arcade races as well. Unfortunately, Drive Club is the one where the graphic limitations from the PSVR is noticed the most. There's a sort of jagginess to a lot of the graphics on the cars, and there's a lot of blurriness in places as well. And I'm not just talking about things that are far away. In some of the cars, the dials and the speedometers, they're sometimes really quite blurry, and sometimes it does take away the overall immersion of it. But then sometimes I play it and I absolutely love it. There's a bit at the start of every public race, it's just for it must be about 10 seconds that it just sits on the straight. And what I've actually found out, that gives you time where you can hold the options button and it sort of puts you at the ideal race position. So sometimes you'll start on the racing wheel, the steering wheel of the cockpit inside the car might be a little bit high, or you might be placed sitting too high. So if you press options, it brings everything sort of centered for yourself, and it's just one of those nice times where you get that set up and you just look around in the car and you look behind out the windows and you can see all the other cars lined up on the track. It's just something that you can only really experience in VR. And again, me saying that, it's quite blurry and stuff like that, I've had friends come around playing it and they've been blown away by it just because of the immersion that they still get from it. But yeah, it's definitely the game that is definitely sort of, I would say, it shows off the limitations the most. But it could be that the game's been rushed. I mean, it was made by Evolution Studios that made the original Drive Club for PS4 that Sony closed down, and then suddenly all of a sudden they've brought out Drive Club VR. So whether they've put all that they wanted to in it, I'm not too sure. Obviously that's just me speculating, but I would say that that's mainly because that they just haven't really gone in it, because there's a lot of games out there that are much nicer looking than Drive Club. So I think it could possibly be that. one of the most outstanding genres on VR is horror. I've played a couple of horror games. You could say Until Dawn, Rush of Blood is a horror. I mean, it's definitely a lot of jump scares in there, but it's more sort of like an action shooter. But Here They Lie, that's more psychological. And horror, I mean, I jump at horror games when I play it on standard PS4, but fuck me, horror is amazing on VR. It definitely adds to that. I didn't think third person would work on VR at all, but on the free game, the what's it called, the Playroom VR, which is like Sony's little fun games, that's got like the a lot of the dual screen sort of games on there, like the party games. There's one that you third party where you control a little robot running around and you're looking down and it's like looking at toys, and at that moment I wanted a Crash Bandicoot game. I'd love a Crash Bandicoot game where you could be in VR and you can look around and you're basically the camera and you could see like a mini Crash running around. It'd just be amazing. So it has completely changed my opinions on what games would work on VR. I personally think any game would work on VR. And for me, playing a game that isn't VR now has become quite boring. And I want more games in VR, but I want games to be patched and everything. And it's not just games. There's apps on there. There's one called Little Star Cinema, I believe, on the store. It's got stuff like music videos and stuff like that, and a lot of them are 360 videos, which don't really have any stereoscopic 3D depth to it. It's more just looking at a picture that surrounds you. But there is one music video on there called Drugs by a band called Eden, and it's just an amazing experience. You can't control the camera, can't control what happens around you, but you're just completely surrounded by this experience that's going on in this video, and it is amazing. So if anyone's got PSVR and has yet to download Little Star Cinema, it's free. There's not a lot of content on there at the moment, and what content is on there, some of it isn't the best. It's more little sort of infomercials and stuff like that. But just watch it just for this Eden music video. It's amazing. But yeah, my initial thoughts are I thought PSVR was going to be good. I think it's much better. I definitely don't think it's a gimmick. I think VR is now here to stay. I think Sony have helped the Oculus and Vive, because I think devs will get behind it now. Apparently, it's surpassed the sales, or at least achieved the sales that they wanted. I know in the UK, it's quite hard to get hold of a PSVR unit. There's a shop in town near me that's paying £390 to buy them off people and selling them for 500. That's a bit out of order, in my opinion. Personally, if you're buying it, if a person's selling it, I know it's brand new tech and stuff, but personally you shouldn't get the full price what you paid, and it shouldn't be sold for more than what it is to buy a brand new one. But I suppose it's demand and supply. If people really want it, they may be willing to pay that amount of money. But I personally, I wouldn't pay £500 for one, especially if you've got to buy the cameras and the Move controllers as well. I would personally just wait your time if you can. If you are desperate and you've got the money, that's entirely you. But I'm not going to recommend it. But all in all, it's great. There's a great choice of games out there at the moment. And even if you can't afford the games, you have got the demo disc, and you can download the American demo disc from the UK store now as well, which has got a few extra demos on there. But there's a fair few demos that are coming on the store as well, and there's a few games on there that are like £10-15 as well. So there is a few cheaper games out there as well. But yeah, my personal opinion is buy it. It's amazing. It's completely changed my view of gaming, and I hate 2D gaming now. I hate it with a passion. Cinema screen does work as well. A lot of people say no, it's not something that you would spend your time on. I've actually tested it on a few of the 2D games that I've got, and I'll happily put on my VR headset and play any game that I've got. But yeah, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment below, you know, your opinions on VR, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. I'm open to discussion about it as well. It's definitely not for everyone, but if you are a gamer, I'd say it's definitely for you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you soon.